My first real heartbreak was extremely painful.
How long has it been since the breakup?
A few weeks ago, actually, with my long-term partner who I was with for almost 6 years. The first person I told was my brother, and I came home and I just essentially cried on his lap. And the next day I told my parents, and they were super supportive.
How have the first few weeks been like for you?
The first week I was just distracting myself, spending a lot of time. And then the second week, actually, I felt really sick. I completely lost my voice, which meant that I couldn't go anywhere or say anything. And it gave me a lot of alone time with my thoughts, which was extremely painful, but very necessary. And I'm really grateful that it happened, because you need to take time to process. I've been disappointed before in life, and I've had, mini versions, but real heartbreak, all the breakup songs make sense. They really make sense. And it's, what you feel is a sense of grief that I've honestly only felt when someone close to me has died. I was in shock, to be honest, and I couldn't believe that for a relationship that we had fought for so long through a lot of obstacles, someone was willing to give things up so easily. Because I truly loved him, I had to let it go and accept that it was over. To know what you want in life, you also have to know what you don't want. So I appreciate that they know what they don't want, but you can't just say, I don't want this, but I don't know what I want. That just shows a little bit of, confusion, and I think that was the shocking part, that in the result of whatever confusion is going on, I become collateral damage. So I think that because of that shocking nature of it, in some sense, I think I'm doing better than I thought I would otherwise, because in some sense it has almost nothing to do with me. To be very honest, I thought my life would look very different in the next couple of years, and now with this rug being pulled under my feet, none of these aspects of milestones are anywhere in my line of thinking. And that made me realize it was all about the person, and I don't really care about those things in a meaningful way right now. And I do feel betrayed. In the future, I thought I might have with a person, and even in some sense in the love that they might have had for me.
Compared to movies and pop culture, how do these tough conversations play out in real life?
Relationships aren't about the big things. When you see movies, you think that it's about the big gesture, or you think it's about, oh, you're finally together and that's the end of it. Movies very rarely show what happens after, right? When they get together, when they get married, when they get whatever. It's about how do you stick through those things and follow through. And if you neglect the little things, the relationship is all about the little things, and that's where I felt betrayed. When you're with somebody for so long, there's so many logistics. Like, I had so much of his stuff. It's not just the two people involved. Sometimes there's a lot of other people involved, right? You've gotten to know their friends, their family, and vice versa. And one thing I've been really grateful for is I have not lost any friendships or relationships from this, with the exception of perhaps somebody's family, and even they have been extremely, extremely kind and supportive. I will still stay in touch with people who were common to us, and even though that might be painful at first, I think I don't want to lose any beautiful relationships from this.
Did having a public relationship work against it in some capacity?
I waited 4 years to even talk about him on the internet. But I'm really glad that I did, because I had a lot of gratitude, and it was a lot of fun also, and I was grateful that he even participated.
How did you navigate being public about your relationship and being mindful of the other person's feelings?
Those were always very important conversations. Before even going public with it, I would, talk to him about what he was comfortable with. He was comfortable with way more than I even shared, and I was doing it in a way that was slow and meaningful. I genuinely thought this was it, and he was the one, so I was comfortable sharing that part of my life. Going forward, will I? Perhaps. It would depend on if there ever is another person and what that person might be like. I almost view him now as like a character in my life, if that makes sense.
Will you archive your posts with him?
And everything is just like a character episode in my life, which is now moving on to a new chapter. So it's not as painful. And I will definitely keep it up. It's beautiful memories, and yeah, it's part of my life. I hope I can find the capacity to love again. This was the only person I've ever loved thus far in a meaningful way. And so obviously it's very painful.
How has your outlook on love changed?
My view on love has always been that you have to be whole and complete within yourself, and somebody else who comes along may complement you and be along for the journey. But I've never believed in somebody completing you or you feeling adhura and finding your better half. So in that sense, I'm grateful because I know that I have love, and I still, like, the love of my life exists. It's me. And if I'm grateful to find another love in my life at some point, that'll be amazing. But it's not something that I, at least not in the current headspace, I'm seeking actively. And if it happens at some point, I think I can hopefully open myself up to it, but I will probably be more guarded.
What's your advice for someone going through a breakup?
You shouldn't let other parts of your life stop, because it's only a part of your life. Find some sort of an outlet. For me, I've been writing music and processing that way, and whether that's journaling for you, whether that's, I also started therapy again, talking to a therapist or whomever, just finding outlets is really important. And I thought that I could be strong, and I kind of have been. It's only been a few weeks, but in the moments that I catch myself alone, or it hits you, I break down and I'm like, what is this sadness that I did not know I could experience? And I have created a full playlist called Breakup, and there are so many songs on repeat. The primary genre is country and pop. I've been listening to it in the car, in the shower, adding new songs, going through things. Music has really gotten me through this. It can be really dangerous to get into bad habits because you rely on things as crutches, but try to put that energy into good things. And honestly, sometimes it helps to watch things like this, which I've been watching a lot of YouTube as well, because it just reminds you that it's a universal emotion and in some capacity or the other. I know many of you are used to watching me here or there in a more uplifting mood, but I was okay filming this because I want you to know that it's obviously okay not to be okay, and we talk about that a lot, but it's also okay to be real and show that you're going through something, because we all go through a lot of shit in life. And if anybody else is dealing with any form of heartbreak or just anything, I just want you to know that I'm giving you a big virtual hug and hoping that you're okay, and sending you lots of love. And one request I do have is please do not send any hateful messages toward the other person, because it's not about them. And my last perspective is dealing with heartbreak, getting closure, making sense of things is an entirely personal process. I'm doing this for me, and I think it's important. So yeah, I hope I'm not heartbroken again in the same way, but I could be, and that's just life, and it's just about knowing that with every up there's a down. And make sure, if you want to hear more first-time stories, go check out other videos on Dobara, and we shall see you very soon.